There's a crack running down a wall in your house right now. Maybe the hallway, maybe that ceiling seam you already fixed once. You mudded it, sanded it, painted it, and it came back. I'm going to tell you exactly why, and I've never seen your wall. In 38 years of inspecting homes, I stood in front of thousands of cracked seams, and every one of them failed for one of four reasons. Just four. A contractor charges $300 to $900 to come fix a failed seam. Almost every one I ever saw was preventable with $4 of mud applied right. By the end of this video, you'll know all four mistakes, and you'll know the peel test, the 60-second check that tells you if your tape will hold before the paint ever goes on. My name is Galen Whitcomb, 38 years, general contractor and building inspector, over 4,000 homes. And the worst of the four mistakes is the one that looks the most professional. I'm saving it. Stick with me. Before I show you what's going wrong, give me 30 seconds. I took everything I learned in 38 years of inspecting homes and put it into one guide. It's called the Homeowner's Repair Manual. Every repair I cover on this channel, the mistakes that cost people the most money, and what to check before you ever pay a contractor a dime. If you're watching this on your TV, grab your phone, open the camera app, and point it at the code on your screen right now. It takes you straight there. If you're on a phone or computer, it's the first link in the description right below this video. Can't miss it. All right, that's enough of that. Let me show you why your walls are cracking. Mistake number one, the mud went on too thin. The most common failure I ever found, and the cruelest because it looks perfect the day you do it. Here's what happens. You spread your compound on the seam. It looks a little rough, so you go back over it to smooth it out. Every pass of that knife takes mud off the wall. 3 or 4 passes, and you're down from 1/8 of an inch to a film thinner than a business card. Then you press your paper tape in, wipe it down, and it lays flat and beautiful. But here's what nobody tells you. Paper tape has no glue on it. None. The mud is the glue. Tape sticks to mud, not to the wall. No mud underneath, and that tape is just resting there, dry, waiting. First coat over it, the moisture hits that dry paper and it blisters. First winter, the framing shrinks, and lumber can move 1/8 of an inch in a season. It cracks. I inspected a brand new house where every ceiling seam let go inside a year. The builder blamed the framing. I peeled back one piece of tape and showed him the back. Bone dry, edge to edge. $12,000 to retape a house that was 8 months old. So here's how you catch it yourself, the peel test I promised. Press a piece of tape in, wipe it down, then lift one end and peel it back up. Look at the back. Wet with mud, edge to edge, you're good. Dry paper anywhere. That spot was going to fail, and you just caught it for free. But too thin is only half the story. The second mistake is what the careful people do, and the careful people fail more. Mistake number 2, you wiped the tape too tight. Sounds backwards, I know. You pressed hard because you wanted it stuck down good, but think about what's happening under that knife. Every pound of pressure squeezes mud out from under the tape. Press hard enough and you drive out most of the bed you just laid. The seam looks tight as a drum. Underneath, the bond is starved. And this is why the crack was never your fault. The guy at the hardware store doesn't explain this. The bucket doesn't explain this. Medium pressure. Wipe out the heavy excess, leave that thin, wet bed underneath, and stop touching it. Catch a spot you overwiped? Don't start over. Cut the tape right there, lift it, butter a little fresh mud under it, lay it back down. 30 seconds. Now, mistake 3 is the one that gets the weekend warriors, and I'd bet money some of you did it last Saturday. Mistake number 3, you got ahead of yourself. You mudded the whole wall, maybe 2, then came back to lay the tape. Feels efficient. Except compound starts losing water the second it touches drywall because that paper face pulls moisture out like a sponge. Warm day, windows open, you've got maybe 10 or 15 minutes before the surface skins over. It still looks wet. It isn't. Tape pressed into skinned-over mud is a failure with a delay timer. 3 months, 6 months, it lets go. The rule costs nothing. Mud one seam, tape one seam. You're not slower. You're just not doing the whole job twice next year. Which brings me to the big one, the mistake that looks the most professional. This one fooled half the contractors I ever inspected. Mistake number 4. Mesh tape with everyday joint compound. I know why you bought the mesh. Self-sticking. No mud bed, press it on, coat over it. Feels like cheating in a good way. And fiberglass looks stronger than paper, doesn't it? Here's what the store never tells you. Mesh only works with setting-type compound, the powder you mix yourself, what the trade calls hot mud, because it cures by chemical reaction and gets hard like concrete. Bucket compound doesn't cure. It dries, and it dries soft enough to flex. Mesh plus bucket mud is a flexing joint wrapped around a rigid tape, and I watched that combination crack in more homes than I can count. New construction, professional crews, didn't matter. So here's your rule, no exceptions. Paper tape with bucket mud. Mesh tape with hot mud. Cross those pairs and the wall tells on you within a year. Now let's put the whole thing together, because doing it right is less work than doing it twice. Tape out of the right bucket, standard all-purpose, the regular weight, because that lightweight, easy sanding stuff has up to 1/3 less glue in it. If lightweight is all you've got, an old trade trick. A good squirt of wood glue stirred in buys your tape a real grip. Then mud on the seam about 3 inches wide and generously thick. Thicker than feels right, because too thick is fixable and too thin is a callback. Press the tape in. Wipe from the middle out to the ends, medium pressure. Wrinkle shows up, cut it, overlap it, keep moving. Run the peel test on your first piece so you know your mud and pressure are dialed. One seam at a time, start to finish. Every one of these fixes is laid out with pictures on one page in Chapter 3 of the manual. That's what it's there for. If you remember one thing today, make it this. A cracked seam is almost never the house. It's the bond. And you can now check the bond in 60 seconds for free before the paint goes on. Now do something for me. Tell me in the comments which of these 4 mistakes got you and what state you're in, because I'm curious where the worst drywall in America lives. I read every one. And hit subscribe before you go, because next week I'm showing you why you should never, ever scrape a popcorn ceiling. And the one thing the crews who scrape them anyway hope you never test. I spent 38 years finding other people's mistakes. Do yourself a favor. Don't make this one.